I created the Cyman system. First of all, get him to actually introduce himself to you. Say hello to everyone, if you would.
Well, hello there, everyone. You can call me Jarvis.
Yes, you can. So, so this is Cyman Mark III. This is in the Chrome store. This is a Chrome app. And what I'm using here is Cyman Mark II. It's a phone app. You can actually just use this on its own, but you have this cool, neat feature where you can kind of remote into your Chrome app. So I could actually do the same thing to my computer at home and get it to do fun things over there, just talking to it from here. But, okay, let's start the presentation. Open bookmark my presentation. If you will.
You command boss. Located bookmark my presentation.
Now, the reason I created this is not just so I can feel... I've always wanted to do this. There's this one thing I've always wanted to do. I see people do it all the time, and like, the Apple, events and whatever, or even Google I/O. I want to do this. So if you don't mind, if anyone is, partial to social media, I apologize. But I'm not really sorry. Yeah. Okay, Glass. Share this with Google Plus Public. Outstanding. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Should we take a look? Should we take a look? Okay, let's see if it's actually there. Don't let me down now. The demo last year didn't go all that well. Open bookmark my profile page. What if I actually come off presentation?
You command located bookmark my profile page.
So once it loads up, Frank, if you could scroll down. It's probably taking its time on this Wi-Fi. Let's scroll up a bit. Up a bit more. That's the one we did earlier. and that's another one we did earlier. Yours hasn't come up yet.
No, it's waiting.
Yeah.
For the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Let's go back to the presentation. I think, it's actually done it now. Right, let's go back to the presentation. Should be the tab before. Just there. Yeah. And just hit present. Okay, this time I'm actually going to talk more about the growing pains of Cyman, but I am going to introduce it to you first. So if you move to the next slide. So I'm going to introduce Cyman to you. Cyman's introduced himself to you already. I'm going to talk a little bit about where it all started, talk about the growing pains, invite you to meet the team of Cyman, and take you back to the future of Cyman. So, move on to the next slide. Oh yeah, one more thing. I put that up as like a promo for this thing, and people were asking me to tell me, oh my gosh, you have a poster outside. It's actually a big, massive poster. It is not. I created this with an app. So yeah, I just want to make it public now. There is no poster. So if any investors are looking, thinking, oh, he's already made it, no. I wouldn't like money. So yeah, so that's, I just want to clear that up first. Okay, so I'll give you the boring version. When someone asks me what is Cyman, depending on who they are, if they're just kind of a corporate type, and they're like, well, Cyman is a digital butler. What does that mean? It's a voice assistant, much like Siri, but on steroids, or like a Google Voice, with the personality of a human. And say, a butler is like a manservant of the house, so I actually wanted to do, home automation in the house and things like that. Digitally omnipresent, whether you're on your phone or you're at home with your computer, I want you to be able to be connected to it, be able to ask them questions. Now, if you move to the next slide, this is the way I like to talk to people about it. This is the way I talk to friends about it. It's like Jarvis from Iron Man. That's what it is. And indeed, that's where the idea came from. But I like this explanation a lot better. Let's move to the next slide. So Cyman at the moment, like I mentioned before, it's on Google Play for Android, and it's in the Chrome store. It was actually the first omnipresent assistant. What I mean is, it's the first one to be not just an app, but also on your computer in Chrome. That means I came before Google themselves. So before Google's, OK Google, Google Now thing, which they have on Chrome, I actually did it before they did. So it's really, really happy about that. And even after they did it, people were still using it because they liked the personality of it. Let's move on. Cyman can help you do a number of things, and honestly, it keeps growing to the point where I can't actually keep track. My team actually helps me keep track of what Cyman can do and the community. You can organise yourself, help with reminders, and speaking of reminders, actually, so, remind me that it's almost time to finish in 10 minutes.
Processing reminder.
Thank you.
Understood. Successfully added the task. It is almost time to end to your to-do list.
Okay, so you can organise yourself. I use that all the time, and you can also automate certain tasks. You can tell him, remember to do this at this time, and he'll do it. So it's like a scheduling task and things like that, but asking in a more humanly way. You can find information, you know, the usual, you know, what is it this, what is it that. He tries to read it, he looks in places like Wikipedia, and lots of other places, directions to places, and the good thing is he'll read them out. That includes, if you want to know how much calories is in certain foods. So if you ask how many calories are there in, you know, certain pizza from Pizza Hut, he'll actually tell you as well as show you more information. So I haven't seen others do all of that. It's customizable, conversational. I've called mine Jarvis. You can call it whatever you want. You can give it whatever nickname you want, and he will answer to it as well. It's conversational. You can speak to it like you're speaking to a human, hopefully. Have seen very funny conversations that people have had with Cyman, and eventually the idea is to connect to your home. Let's move on. So yeah, I just wanted to. I think this is just like a minute long, so I just wanted to play this. If you just click play, and you can see a couple of things I've done recently and uploaded. Voice activation.
Of course, boss.
Right there.
Waiting for your command, sir.
Tell me something motivating. It's a bit low this actual video. So I asked him to tell me something motivating.
That everyone has a talent, ability, or skill that he can mine to support himself and to succeed in life.
Alright, I'll transcribe that. That's true. So he told me something motivating, basically. Just a motivational quote to pull back to the Now this one's going to end up being too quiet, so I'll actually just describe. Maybe we'll try someone here and try it. So let's pause it and let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so where did it all start? I trust you're not actually looking at the woman. That's not the point of this. I'm hoping this video will actually come out now. We'll try this. It's still quiet. Unfortunately, the YouTube videos aren't coming up right. Basically, Jarvis in the movie is talking about the weather. He's waking her up and telling her about the weather, you know, about what the shoreline is and things like that. And later on, it went on to tell her places she's not allowed to go into. And I was like, that's really cool. To actually wake up to, instead of waking up to like a really annoying sounding alarm, I'd like something to tell me this is what the weather is, this is what the news is, the news I want to know. At the moment, Cyman tells me a joke when I wake up in the morning, and it gets me laughing. He tells me a Chuck Norris quote, would you believe? It really does. He does good ones. I might try one now, but it may end up being rude. I'm not sure. He pulls that from the internet. So, but yeah, it's you know, that's the sort of thing I wanted. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So I went crazy and did it. Let's move on. So I wanted something that told me what was relevant to me when I wake up in the morning. I wanted something that was connected to my home. I wanted to link it to things like, you know, the lights, your heating, and everything else. I actually experimented with the lights feature earlier this year, and it worked quite well. So I then said, when you wake me up, turn on the light. And lo and behold, along with all the other things it did, turn on the light. So I was really happy to score. But I need to actually release that to everyone else. I wanted to automate my tasks, tell me what I need to do, and sometimes challenge my thinking. See, it was all, even though, you know, Iron Man is a fictional character, you know, I was thinking very seriously non-fiction. I didn't have any delusions of grandeur or anything like that. Let's move on. I wasn't thinking anything childish or I wasn't thinking anything childish or anything like that. There was nothing that I wanted except for the actual digital Butler. Let's move on. So I started just by research. I didn't really study AI at uni. I did maths and computer science, but I didn't do the module. So I had to look up for myself, look in forums, see other people who were trying to do this kind of thing. Experimented, use YouTube to gather feedback, and use Facebook and Twitter. I didn't used to use Twitter before Cyman. No, I had no choice. Watch movies, inspiration comes from there, the kind of things I wanted to do. Let's move on. This was the YouTube page I was using. Initially I was just uploading it for about a year, just uploading these videos and showing my progress, including, I went down there, actually getting Cyman to download torrents in advance when I'm away. So I'll tell him which one I want. He'll look and pick what he thinks is the best one to download based on number of seeders, based on the rating and things like that. So last time I get home, it's already downloaded. Of course, it was all legal stuff. So let's move on. So there was so much to do, right? The problem with this is that there was, there was promotion to do, there was fixing bugs, before it was fine, it was just me using it. So, I just thought, when something goes wrong, I can deal with some of it, I can live with it, and but once you have lots of people who it's kind of like, we want our updates, we want it now, then, it gets a bit crazy. And for some reason, I wanted more people to look at it. Let's move on. I've got a list of some of the things that I had to do. I was doing it myself for a long time. It was getting quite taxing. Really needed people to help, and there were people who did step up to help voluntarily, without my asking. I used Google Plus a lot. A lot of people say Google Plus is dead, and those are people who don't use it. So I've never understood that. There is where I get the most engagement about Cyman. Facebook, I get the most likes because there's so many people on Facebook. But there is no engagement. There's engagement with Google Plus. There are people saying exactly what they want. There are people saying what they like, what they prefer, and things like that. And people are helping each other. And it's from those people that were helping each other, the top people, and they ended up being part of the team helping. I said, well, you guys are doing so well in that. Do you want to actually do it? Become moderators and actually help everyone else. So I'll tell them what I'm going to do in advance. Let's move on. So this is just kind of a timeline of when certain things were released, and it was, by the time I went through, it was quite hard doing things by myself, and I had other people to help. Move on. So I had to get my team, and my team consists of Frank, who is sitting right there. He was also here last year. He's been helping me out with the business side of things. I used to work with him, and he got really interested in the Cyman project I was doing on the side, in my lunchtimes and my after work. So he wanted to help out, and that's what he's been doing since then. Mike, Chris, and David have been helping me from the Cyman community. They came directly from there. Did not know them from Adam before. Let's move to the next slide, and we can actually see them. So this right here, this is Mike, and he came down last year all the way from Wales, just to be here. I had not met him before. Even whilst he was helping me for a year, had not met. This guy is David Price. He's been helping as long as Mike has. He's in the States, and he was helping kind of the after hours when people were asking questions. He'd be there to help, and it was great. It meant that I didn't have to spend time doing that. I could spend more time developing and improving. This is Chris. He joined kind of this year or last year? Is it? Last year. Last year. Time's gone really fast. He's been excellent since he joined the team. He's been on the case in the community. We've had all sorts of things going on in our lives, whether it be babies or just things happening in life. I mean, he was there, really engaging with the community and being a source of help and telling us when he didn't have enough information. It was great. Let's move on. So this is the community that I was talking about, and they come up with great ideas. This is what helped to kind of spread. Now there are over 3,000 members of the community, and that really is because of these guys. And they help to spread the word. These people, they'll spread it over Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and then friends of friends, helping to spread it further. He came up with an idea called Tips Tuesday. That wasn't my idea. And what he's done is essentially forced us to think every Tuesday, right, we need to give like a new tip or something that they might have forgotten that they can do, and it's great. And it's made me sometimes think, okay, I want to quickly do a new feature that they can use, like you can tell them, heads or tails or something like that, and just to use if you're playing a game, play Hangman with them or something. So it's been great. It's been great having them, and it's only really because of them that the community has grown so much. Let's move on. So the reason I say back to the future is because controlling the PC by voice, that was actually the first thing I did with the videos that I was uploading. The problem I had was that it was too hackable. I would be able to hack my own one really easily if I didn't have, if I was downloading it. So I first released the Android version, especially after Siri decided to release theirs, and their presentation seemed eerily similar to my one. So I thought, fine, I'm going to release my one now. So did that on Android. But eventually I will come back, well, I'm already working on it, coming back to having the PC version, so you have your own digital butler at home. Home automation.
Sorry to interrupt. With a new reminder, it is almost time to end.
Isn't it great when demos work? So, availability on mobile operating systems. I will eventually move to doing it on iOS. It won't be as good as the Android version because Apple had to restrict a lot of those, as some of you will know. And this is the reason why Android is better than iPhones. And Windows Phone, they have Cortana now. People say Cortana is okay. It seems okay from the others. Some people, I'd like to see how Cyman does against that. So I would like to release that. BlackBerry is dead. Shouldn't be on the slide. The Internet of Things. I have a device right here. Thank you. This is called a Neo arm device from Thalmic Labs that we really have a cover here. What this does is it measures electrical impulses in your arm. So you just put it on your arm, to there, and you'll probably see posts of mine of where I'm actually controlling my iTunes by hand gestures or fast forwarding, rewinding, turning up the volume, turning down the volume and things like that. And it's great. And what I like is, just like you saw from the movies, Tony Stark and Jarvis, to have a concert of voice and gesture recognition. So for the more minute tasks, so you might say, we opened the Google Plus page, for example, by voice. Then from there, it'd be nice to scroll down using my hands, for example. So it's kind of a concert of different interactions, not just relying on one, and other methods of control. Move to the next slide. Other things are secret. There are lots of plans, very exciting plans we have. I'm working on busily, getting no sleep, so unfortunately some of those I can't share with you, but it's very exciting, and these guys will tell me because I've told the team a lot of the stuff that's happening. So yeah, move on. I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions? Go.
One thing I was curious about was, have you ever considered targeting specific niche, like for example the healthcare market, like for example people with dementia or something help with memory things, or people on medication might need to be notified when they need to take pills and whatnot. Have you ever thought about taking that approach?
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is I held a hangout once, like a video hangout, and someone actually raised, someone who's actually in this position actually mentioned the fact that they find this really useful, and this and this are the things that would really help them to be able to use it properly if they could do that, if they could do the other. And that really made me think about that focus. The only problem is, at the moment, it's like under one guy. And eventually I would like to reach all those other areas. But one of those secret plans that was mentioned before kind of is going to aid that, and it wouldn't just be me doing it, it would be lots of other people, yourselves, helping to have Cyman to interact in those areas of industry to be able to do that. I can't speak too much on it, but yeah, great question. Yeah.
Sorry, building on that a bit, in terms of your ultimate business plan, given the things that you come across, a lot of developers find that the business plan changes quite drastically. Do you have anything that you've learned that you could give that would add value to people looking to do similar things? What are the challenges that you face, and how do they maybe overcome that at the initial stages?
To start with, I had no business plan. It came from hobby, and it became the beast that it is. But along the way, I've ended up learning. During the time, especially in the last few years, I've been working more for startups than big institutions or financial institutions, and I've learned so much and tried to apply it to Cyman. And yeah, there are a lot. But in terms of the challenges, I actually have a slide from that from last year, and I took it out so I can concentrate on the area. But time was the biggest, one of the massive things. And I've been doing this in my spare time, lunchtime after work and weekends and stuff like that. And you have to be patient, knowing that it's just going to come immediately. There are a lot of people who want to get there now and make big bucks now, but it takes sometimes it takes more time than you would like, and it does get frustrating, and that's hard to keep in. But that's one of them. Have people to help. I am very. It's not easy for me to have people to help. I mean, I'm still the only one doing the coding, but you know, it took a long time before Frank joined me, and then the other guys helping the community, and that's helped me immensely. And so I'm trying to think more about letting people help me in one way or another. Those are the two biggest things that I'll mention now, but could go on. We could talk about it afterwards. Like, we could go on for
One more question.
okay, let's go to like the other side. So let's go to the other back.
Yeah, so you said you have a community of about 3,000.
Sorry, one more time.
So you have a community of about 3,000 people on the
3,125.
Are they active users of Cyman?
Yeah.
And so what can you tell us a bit about them? So are they techie people that are interested in this thing, or are they people that are just using it for to address a specific need? It's kind of related to the first question. So are people just using it because, oh yeah, it's kind of cool and it's techie and it's forward thinking, or are they actually using it to address something specific?
I will admit that the large majority of them are people who love the idea of having a Jarvis. A lot of them have actually Googled, when I'm doing the whole SEO thing, and see they're actually Googling for Jarvis on Android, and then they come across Cyman and things like that. And I guess that's largely because of the way that I was marketing it at the beginning, because that was my main motivation when I first started. But I've started to see others who were just actually looking for a digital assistant, and they've gone around and in the reviews I say things like, I've looked for every single assistant and I finally come to one that I like. So there are people actually looking for just life assistants, but the large majority are people with Jarvis, and unfortunately they start saying things like, why doesn't mine sound like Jarvis? You know, well, I'm sorry I don't have the money to hire Paul Bettany to actually voice it. Like, give me money, maybe I'll do it. So, you know, yeah, so that's the large majority.
So you're going to try and market it outside of the techie work?
That's part of the secret squirrel on the previous slide.
Okay.
That has a lot to do with it in terms of the visual aesthetic and how easy it is to use and things like that.
Thank you.
So you will be very available by the bar at the break time. So
Not that famous, but yeah.
But a bit available. So round of applause for